Welcome to Go Get Podcast, a podcast where we haven't got to say any opportunity away. I'm Colby.
And I used to have a dog and his name was Francis. And he ran away. What a selfish bastard.
What the fuck are you talking about?
That's lyrics to a song. I just really liked them and I wanted to say them, but you can call me Fee.
What song is this?
It's a Northern Boys song.
Okay.
And I think the song's name is Everybody Hates Me.
Including my dog Francis, I guess.
Yeah. Listen, there was one day last week that I just went to YouTube. I was starting to watch Northern Boys Party Time. And I was like, let's see what other songs they got. You know, maybe they're good, right? Well, they do. They have like a couple of other songs and they're all fucking deranged and I love them.
All right.
Everybody Hates Me is a good song. I think Sex Train was a good song. And, that one especially, the music video is really funny on that. And I say that because like they're starting to sing and they're like in this like open area on tables with people around them. They start singing and then all of a sudden the bald guy, right? You've seen the video, right?
No. I have no idea who the Northern Boys are.
You know who they are. If like go to YouTube and type in Northern Boys.
Fuck, we're in the middle of a podcast and you want me to be like, oh, just go look up a YouTube video.
Don't look up the video, but just look up the fucking it's party time, get the drugs out.
Oh, these fucks. Yeah.
Fucking, yeah, those guys, yeah. The bald guy, like he starts to sing, but then like he throws up in the middle and they're like, had to get Patrick and take him to the hospital. He had jaundice. And then like a few seconds go by and then he's fucking back singing like they're like he got better. And so yeah.
Good.
I wrote that down in my podcast notes because I really like that lyric.
You said that's who I want to be.
That's who I want to be. Although I'd never name my dog Francis. Me and my mom were contemplating on what to name a dog that we want to get. So we want to get another Chihuahua because we have one right now, and that's my sister, and that's my sister's dog,
and that's my sister, the Chihuahua.
She's been cursed. We don't know how to turn her back. But that's her dog. So we want to get one for me and my mom, so we can hang out with. Although that dog's pretty cool, we just don't want him to be like lonely. So we're contemplating on names, and my sister's dog's name is Chiquito, and they're like, well, let's give him a Mexican name. Like, what about Paco? I'm like, oh, fuck, no. And I'm like, let's call him like Burrito or something. Let's call him Beans. And they're like, no, we're not going to call him Bean. And so then I was like, fine. Then I was like naming him stupid things. And then like my mom comes later and she's like, Beans is a good name. I'm like, yeah, I fucking know.
You're like, yeah, duh.
Beans is, and the way I described him, like, Beans because we're Mexican, right? I was like, it shows heritage. He's cute, and they're like, but the dog's white. I'm like, it doesn't matter. He's brown on the inside.
Did you look at your mom dead in the eye when she was like, yeah, Beans is a good name, and you were like, I don't fucking miss mother.
I was like, name one thing, anything that I've missed in my life. And, she's like, well, you did guess right on the Game Awards.
Yeah, she did say that. Your mom actually texted me, like at the end of the Game Awards, and she said, how does it feel to be such a loser? I said, who is this?
Who is this? And then
how did you get this number?
How did you get it? Stop it. I would be very scared if I got a weird text that was just like, well, no, that's because scams do that, right? They'd send you a text and they're like, what's it called? Oh, I'm over here. I'm next to this beautiful sunset or whatever. And then they'll send a message right after and be like, oh, I'm sorry, wrong number. And then you're like, yeah, it's okay. And then they're like, well, how are you? You're really nice.
Hey.
I'm just like, well, fuck off. Yeah, no, we don't like scam calls. and I almost got swished the other day. Not fish, swish. I think they call it swishing when because now that it's Christmas time, of course you're buying stuff online, and you're getting like things sent in the mail, and you'll get texts that is like, "Oh, this is the post office. Press this link and put in some information because your fucking package is like in transit or at the post office, and we couldn't deliver it." And I almost did. I was like, "Oh yeah, well I have stuff. I'm getting delivered." I was like, I opened it and I was like, "Ooh, almost did."
Almost.
Then I was like, I got an email that has tracking information. I don't need to press this fucking random text.
Yeah, I started getting texts like that too, and I was like, especially in my account, because we moved and there was a time period there in which it was like, oh, we may have pre-ordered some stuff, or it took a long time to ship something, and so they may have sent it to our old address and then it may be forwarded to our new address. So I was like, you get one of those texts and I'm like, oh yeah, probably. And then I'm like, wait a second. This doesn't have any information about anything in it. It's just like, yeah, your package from shipping services can't make it to where you are. You're like, okay.
Yeah, give us all your information. Give us your your blood type, your phone number, your social. We're gonna become you.
Yeah, they're like, hey, can you, like, I know this is weird. We have like a login system that tracks all packages everywhere, but in order to log in, you need to give us your social security number and at least one credit card number. 2 is better and more secure.
Yeah, I'm like, man, it almost got me. It almost did if I didn't like double think myself, which really sucks because like other people are not so like they don't think as much.
Yeah.
Like I always worried for my mom, especially. Yeah. And like not to say she's stupid or anything, but like she's older and she sees some things. I'm like, Mom, just never open any of these things.
Yeah.
Like if you have a question about something, just please ask me. Like, and she does. It's just I'm still worried. Like,
she's like, hey, Bill Gates texted me and asked if my Microsoft Windows computer was on. Is the computer on? And you're like, stop it, throw it away.
I got a message on Twitter today from the Michael Jackson. He said he's not dead. He said if I send him $200, he'll give me $10,000.
Yeah.
And he said he'd let me go to Neverland Ranch.
Yeah, he said. He said, "Hey, in order to make a comeback, that's my best fake Michael Jackson voice. In order to make a comeback, I'm gonna need you to give me $200. But on my next album, I'll put you as a producer credit. That'll make you at least $100,000.
Nobody knows I'm alive, so I'm collecting money."
Fuck.
Ah, hell yeah.
And that's in
so
text.
Cool. That's yes. It's MONE-EH-EY.
Perfect.
So Colby, it's been a minute. Not well for the listeners, not really, because they're getting this on time.
Yeah.
For the people that subscribe to us on YouTube and follow us on Spotify and TikTok, they get all the stuff on time. But behind the scenes, because like Colby says, we do this podcast 0 to 2 times a week. We haven't recorded in a week or two.
Yeah, it's been about a week and a half. And here we are. Here back on Twitch. If you're not following us on Twitch, twitch.tv/GoGetUsPod.
You're missing out.
And in that time, the Game Awards has come and gone.
Oh yeah. The Game Awards have come and gone. Some trailers have dropped. Some good shit going on. But the reason it's taken us a little while is because my fucking internet went out.
Yeah.
I am pissed off about it. It's stupid.
I have never heard of this before. So if he was like, oh yeah, my internet is out and it's gonna, like, this was a Thursday, and he was like, oh yeah, they're gonna come by on Monday, and I was like, Monday? You don't have any internet for that long? That's
Yeah.
crazy. Like anytime that I call like tech support for internet stuff, I'm like, hey, yeah, can you like send a technician out? And they're like, yeah, sorry, earliest availability is going to be tomorrow at 5 p.m. And I'm like, yeah, sure, that's fine. Like even that, I'm like, ugh, fucking 18 hours from now. Great, cool,
Dude,
but whatever.
that's how I was. They're like the earliest technician. I'm like, oh, tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, it's Monday. I was like, Monday?
Yeah. Hang on.
I was offended. They were like, yeah, that's the earliest time they can come out to you, unless you want another date, like further. I was like, oh, whoa, no.
No.
Monday will do. But I was upset.
That's the thing is like your internet provider is small enough, and our hometown is also small enough that it, to me, I can almost guarantee you that they're like, all right, let's see where your service address is. Yeah, okay, so that is Jeremy. Jeremy is the only technician, and he's on vacation. He'll be back Monday though, so we'll get you on Monday. And you're like, please.
I mean, I went the whole weekend with no internet, and that was the slowest weekend I've ever had to live through.
Yeah, it's crazy because like whenever you have the internet, you don't even think about how much you're relying on it, but like your internet goes out and suddenly like, oh, I can't play any games online. Okay, so I'll just play single player games. Well, shit, Steam can't connect to verify my account, so I can't launch any of my games. Damn. Okay, I'll just play a console game. That's fine. Yeah, I'll just play a console game. Oh, shit, there was a pending update, and okay,
and now I can't. Yeah, I guess I'll just read a book.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, luckily for me, the games I have installed on my PC, the single player ones anyway, I can play them without internet. So I got to play Baldur's Gate for a few days. And I was okay with that.
So that's good. Like Steam, I think, has gotten a little bit better about it, but still on your Steam Deck, if you're taking your Steam Deck to travel, you have to specifically go in and tell Steam, like, hey, don't try to validate who I am every time I log in, please. Like, let me switch to offline mode. Like, once I've been validated, I'm going to switch to offline mode. That way I can play whenever I want to, and then I'll switch back to online mode when I need to grab some stuff. And, like, if you forget, it used to be this way. I think they fixed it now. But if you forgot to do that and you were just away from the internet, your Steam Deck was like, LOL fucking sucks, idiot. Can't log in. Bye.
Yeah, you big dumb idiot. So yeah, no, man, it was a long weekend. Then Monday came around, and like I couldn't be like awake fast enough when the technician came. But I didn't even get to like hang out with my internet because like I had to go to work that day at 6, so I left at 5, and he was like finished at 5. So. But we got the internet back. The whole reason it wasn't what's it called? My stuff issue. It wasn't like the Wi-Fi went out or like some of the things went out. Nothing went out. They just disconnected me from the central hub on accident. And like they couldn't just plug me back in when I called or figure out what the hell was going on. Someone just unplugged me on accident.
Yeah. That sucks. Like, cause you know this like technician came out and was like, okay, let me check. Yeah, your equipment seems to be working okay, like based off of the tests that I've done. Let me like plug it into this meter thing. Oh, okay, yeah. It looks like you're not actually getting any signal from like our service. Let me call someone real quick. And then he gets on his cell phone and he's like, yeah, I'm at this like guy's address, and can you just check that like I can't get any signal out here? Just make sure that things are okay. And they're like, oh yeah, we turned that off. Fucking what? Stop. Turn it back on.
Yeah, he paid for it. What the hell? This guy also, I feel like he was going to like come later than when he did, because like when he called me, he was like, I'm gonna be there around 3, and 3 rolls around, he's not here, and I'm like, all right. I still have his number, so I called him. And because it was like 3:30 going on 3:40, and I call him like, hey, coming around anytime soon, because I gotta kind of go to work. And he's like, yeah, I'm gonna head out there. And I'm like, he's like, but if you're not gonna be there, is like an adult gonna be there? Are they gonna have all your information like someone over 18 to, I guess, see him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait, why do you need all my information? He's like, well, we're doing a new install, right? I'm like, no, my internet just ran out. I just need a technician. He's like, oh, okay, I'm coming up the road. And I'm like,
What?
I'm like, does that mean that you weren't coming up the road if it was a new install?
Like what
the hell?
I swear, what if he just like lives in the same town as you? He's like, oh yeah, I looked it up on Google Maps. It'll take me literally 3 minutes to get there. I could walk there in 20. And then you're like, yeah, no, this is just like, this isn't a new install. You just need to come and like take a look at it. Oh, well, that's easy then. Yeah, I'll sorry. Oh yeah, I was just I don't know. I was just eating a bunch of sandwiches. I can put them away. I'll be there in a minute.
Listen, the sandwiches aren't even gonna like get moist by the time I get back. I'm like, okay, just can you? I want internet.
Yeah,
just please.
Listen. Full disclosure, I am very good at fixing things. Like, there is nobody in our company that's better at fixing things. I am absolute shit at installs, though. So that's the difference here.
Look, I didn't even have to get my tools out. Just got my phone out. God. Oh, man. I was ticked off, but, like, I couldn't be mad at the guy. But, so annoying. Anyway, I got a prorated rate for, like, the 5 days I didn't have internet.
Nice. Yeah, it's really hit or miss on technicians whether or not you get, like, a cool one or one that's, like, yeah, listen, this is all by the books. I did the bare minimum that I can do. You just got to get, like... I've called people out that have been like, yeah, your modem is just broken, so you're just going to need a new modem. And I'm like, is it really? And he's like, yep, that's it. Just broken modem. And like replacing the modem fixes it. But like, I'm like, I feel like you didn't do enough to actually... Like, you sat here for 15 minutes and then was like, yeah, broken modem. Can't be anything else. Whereas, like, I had a guy that came by at our last house and I was like, yeah, technically, when I called in, this is how I explained it. I was like, technically, I am having an internet service outage. Technically. I'm not really having one. The internet upstairs, I need to be able to connect to, like, with coax cables. Like, there's it's super technical. Like, if you don't care, just go into a coma for 20 seconds. There's a protocol called MoCA where you basically the internet comes in from the coax, comes into your modem, and then you plug it into a different box, and that box goes into the coax again as like a different thing, and then you can grab another MoCA box, put it in another room that has coax, and then turn it back into an Ethernet cable. So it's effectively a hardwired connection into your modem from a different room, which is like great if like us, like my wife's office was upstairs, and I was like, oh well, we don't have Ethernet in that room, so we have to do this MoCA thing. And so I realized, hey, none of the coax ports upstairs are connected to anything. And sure enough, I went to my cable box and I pulled it out. Like, it has a lock on it, but I pulled it a little bit and I saw 5 coax cables that are coming down on the side of my house into that box, just dangling there. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I called them, was like, technically it's an internet outage, because if I told you I wanted to put my modem upstairs, it wouldn't work. So that's what I'm going to say this is. So the dude shows up with another, with a trainee, and I bring him to the box outside, and I'm like, I validated that the cables just aren't connected, and then I explain the whole thing to him, and the technician is like, okay, cool, and then he turns to the trainee and he goes, all right, listen, we're not technically supposed to do this. This is up to your discretion whether or not you want to do something like this. His service is fine. He's asking you to put in an extra connector here and hook up all these wires. You don't have to do that. I'm going to, because we've got time and it's fine, but you don't have to do it. And I looked to him as I guess thanks, but shit, dude, like very clearly in front of me being like, this asshole over here trying to game the system and make us come out to fix something that isn't broken. I'm going to do it this time, but you're lucky. You owe me. Give me, like, what do you got? What gift cards have you spent yet? Give me a $20 gift card to Best Buy right now.
You're lucky I'm training, and this is a good training moment.
Yeah.
looks at the training. Now you see what's going on. You don't have to do this, and this guy's an asshole.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, he's like, yeah, listen, you don't have to do this. And he turns back to me, and I'm fucking not. We're leaving. Oh, no, come back.
What could you do at that point? Like, you told him you basically tricked him.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, he could be like, yeah, some people do it. Not me, though.
Yeah, yeah, some people are cool. Not me, though. Listen, to be fair, the amount of times that I've had to keep... okay, so for the past month, I would say, I have been working overtime kind of a lot. I worked a lot of overtime like the week before Thanksgiving, the week of Thanksgiving, the week after Thanksgiving. And it's starting to get better now. I'm going on vacation at the end of this week, so everything should be okay. But like, I've been doing a ton of work. I am doing this because that's sort of like my lot in life. But I'm making sure to tell everyone else who's on my team that like, you don't have to do this. And I keep telling them, you can only get one paycheck from this company. So like, no matter what you do, you're gonna get that paycheck. If you put in a shit ton of extra hours, same paycheck actually. So like, just at your discretion. If you want to help, if you want to stay up late, if you want to like push this thing along and like be involved and like get your name out there or whatever like social clout you get from this, I can't speak to that. I don't think that it carries a lot of weight, but like, again, you are only going to get paid what you're currently getting paid, whether or not you do this extra work. So like, damn. I want to make sure that people are not like, oh yeah, listen, they're gonna see how much extra work that I put in. Ooh, I'm gonna get a big ass raise next year, because like maybe, but also maybe not. Like, I think probably the worst thing about this is like, this whole project was scoped out by one of my teammates, right? He did all of the work up front to be like, all right, this is how we're going to do it. This is when we're going to do it. This is how long it's going to take. And I should have been like, it's actually probably going to take twice as long as that. I didn't. And that was a mistake. But like, he's like the guy. He's the one that did this project, right? The week before we launch, he goes on vacation for a week and a half. That's coincidentally happens to coincide with the time that me and the one other person who's still here are now like, shit, we're working 16-hour days because this thing is supposed to be out and there's a whole bunch of issues and like, God, we thought it was like this, but it's different and we got to fix this bug and like all of that is happening. So by the time he comes back from vacation, everybody is like, oh yeah, Colby and this other teammate. Yeah, you're the two that like know the most about this system. Like ask a question about it, and he's like, I'm the one who planned everything. What the shit? So I'm trying to be like, hey, this guy is like the guy that planned it. He's the like any success here, you should blame on him. Like he's great. Any failure you blame on me. But like, don't forget that he's here just because me and this other person worked like 80 hours one week. Like, come on, dude.
Listen, y'all were there. He wasn't. So that's the breaks. Them's the breaks in big code.
Yeah, it's hard. It's especially whenever you're like a junior engineer, it is really hard to not want that so bad because you're like, look, I put in the work. I put in the time. I've got the knowledge. I was here. Well, you dropped the ball. I was here to pick it up. Like, that's the sort of like feeling that you get where you're like, damn, I'm a good engineer. Damn, everybody depends on me. Like, I'm really killing it out here. And then the further up the engineering ladder you get, the more that you're like, oh, wow, somebody dropped the ball at work and I didn't even have to get involved. Great. I'm actually doing my job perfectly. That means that everyone knows as much as they need to be able to like help without me. If there's an issue, where I'm on vacation, someone else can pick it up, everything's okay. Like that's one of the main things that you do. So whenever like we're talking about this project and people are like, yeah, we're looking at these metrics and we're making sure that we're good to roll out. Does that sound good? Does it sound good to you, Colby, and this other person who've been working 80 hours a week on it? I'm like, well, I mean, maybe. from my perspective, yeah, like I'm the lead of this team. I can tell you yes, but also I'm looking over at the guy who planned everything, and I'm like, yeah, right? Yeah, good, okay, yeah.
Yeah. I have no idea. I wouldn't know. And I wouldn't know because, like, I barely participate in work myself.
Dude, that's the thing, and that's the thing that I feel so bad about is, like, I'm very upfront about, like, how fucking sick my life and job is. And detrimentally so. So, like, I caught myself doing something that my wife chastised me for a few years ago. At a previous job, we had a free barista, like a barista from a local coffee shop that would make you coffee for free. It was fucking awesome.
Hell yeah.
Best perk of any job I've ever had. So I was talking to this barista and I was like, yeah, you know, I'm definitely going to be probably drinking more coffee than usual today. They made me come in for a 9 a.m. meeting. In fact, it's so early. Like I usually walk in about 10 and they're like, yeah, I've been here since 7:30. So, you know, and I was like, dog, that sucks. That big sucks for you. Anyway, and I told my wife that, and my wife was like, fucking stop making it out like your life is so hard when you have to come to work at a reasonable hour, you ass.
Yeah.
And I swear to you, I did it again last week. Somebody was like, hey, like make sure to like configure all these people in time to like turn on for in the morning. You can either do it tonight or you can do it tomorrow before they start. And I was like, nobody on my team is willingly awake before 7:30 in the morning. So that ain't happening. We're going to do it tonight. I thought about it for a second and I was like, shit. I think they're actually on like at work from 7:30 until like 4:30 and then sometimes at night too. God damn it. I did it again.
Yeah, but whenever I tell you I have to get up at like 5 in the morning or 4 in the morning, you're just like, Goofy?
Yeah.
The fuck?
Yeah. I mean,
how's that any different?
That's the thing. Your job though, like if I'm making fun of you for going to work early or like having to stay up late and sleeping at work, I know that 8 to 10 hours of your day is just filled with anime and video games and nothing. And so I'm like, oh, poor baby had to wake up early so he could go take a nap somewhere else. Oh, goo goo gaga. That sucks.
Listen, you're not wrong. It's just, man, I hate going there. I hate pretending that I care. Going to work is like fucking 99% like pretending like I know what's going on or that I care and showing that like it's like every time like my boss comes around, I have to like roll a d20 and beat a fucking deception check to make it seem like I know what I'm doing. So that way, like they don't like come on to me and be like, hey, you fucking can't just be sitting back here not doing anything all day and watching anime.
you're like, nah, a bunch of people came up and I said, you can't leave. I put them back on the boat, boss.
Like, so I do have to do some things that interrupt my flow of like not doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
So listen, I work. It's just not a lot.
Yeah.
But I do have to get up at 4 and go to work. Okay?
Yeah,
that get up at 4.
That sucks. And I will say that like the whole like having to shift your sleep schedule thing is torturous. It is it is underrated how hard it is to do that and how bad it is to like be in that cycle. Because there was one summer, like you were there, where I was taking a college class at a town an hour away, and so my schedule was like wake up at 6:45, eat a bowl of oatmeal, get on the road by 7, make it to my class by 8. 8 to 10 was my class, and then I had a lab at 1. and that's a 3-hour gap. So it's like, oh, do I want to drive the 1 hour back, take an hour-long nap, and then drive an hour back? Fucking no, obviously not. So I try to sleep in my car. Oh, it's the summer in Texas. You can't do that. It's too hot. Great. I try to sleep inside of a building. Doesn't work. There's no places to sleep. Awesome. So I just get to stay up. And then I get home at like lab ends at 5, so I get home at 6, and I like fall asleep for 2 hours, wake up, eat dinner at 8, do homework until 10, and then I'm like on the internet until like midnight or something. I'm like, all right, great, go back to sleep. And that sleep deprivation of like, I'm only getting 6 hours of sleep every night, fucking as many hours like as many hours as I can. And then on Sundays, switching to DGen hours when I'm like, oh yeah, Mike and Fee are coming over. We're going to stay up until 3, 4 in the morning. Then we're going to wake up at noon and go hang out. It's going to be great. And then Monday comes and I'm like, cool, glad I get to wake up at 6 in the morning. Great.
God, yeah. It's so funny to think of like back then you're just like, we've talked about this before. Like you're young, you had the stamina to do that, but like now you're just like, I can't even fathom doing that.
Dude, no. Like here's the weirdest thing. I used to go to bed pretty reliably like midnight, 1 a.m. every night. Even whenever like my son wakes up at like 8 a.m. That's like, 7-8 hours of sleep, and that's enough. Something happened when we moved to the West Coast, and I think it's a combination of a few things. One, it gets darker here earlier, so like it gets to be 11 p.m. and I'm like, shit, I should go to bed. And I'm tired at 11 p.m. I'm like, wow, I should go to bed. The other thing that happens is like you go on places like Reddit and like places where you expect a bunch of activity, and at 11 p.m., right, it's 1 in the morning in Texas and 2 in the morning in New York. So like the internet is effectively shutting down its content creation factory. And so you get on and you're like, wow, okay, nice. Like I read, I don't know, 100 Reddit posts. Like I went through 100 Reddit posts. Cool. Let me refresh. Oh shit, it's the same 100 Reddit posts. Oh, nobody's posting anything. The internet has run out. I guess I could just go to bed.
Dude, the same thing happened. Like when I'm done watching like everything I wanted to watch in the day, and it's late and nothing new is coming out, I'm like, well, now what do I do?
Yeah, God, like when I was between jobs, when I was unemployed. There you go. That's the good way of saying it. When I was unemployed and I was working on my own game, my sleep schedule was wake up at like 2 in the afternoon and go to bed at 5 or 6 in the morning, and the problem was it would get to be like I had 1 or 2 streamers that would reliably be on at like, they would get on at like, midnight or whatever, and then they would stream until like 4 in the morning. Once that 4 a.m. like time hit, the time between 4 a.m. and when I would go to bed around 6 is just like, hey, is there anyone out there? anyone streaming a video game I want?
Dude, that's what happens when I work at night. When I work at night from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
and it's like past midnight and there's nothing to watch. I'm just like, oh, I could either catch up on something or I could like take a nap.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I will open a few tabs. I'm like, I could watch this. I could catch like an episode of like this. And then, like, I'll think about it, and I'm like, man, but I don't want to start something. It's just, man, I don't know what it is about, like, starting something, I don't know, late in the day and wanting to keep watching it or, like, just get rest.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, that's just my internal conflict always at work. When I'm at home, I'm like, I can go to sleep right now. Just like last night. Last night, we were playing Fortnite with my stepbrother.
Yeah.
Our brother-in-law. And it was 2 a.m. over here, and I was like, all right, I think this is the last game. And he was like, no, let's keep playing. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna I'm tired. And he was like, and it was like midnight for you. I'm like, how can you just keep playing? And mind you, like he's 28.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, well, I'm like really sleepy. I'm like, I want to lay down.
Yeah, you're coming at this like I'm like in my 30s, and I'm like, you're at a job in which like you have a weird, like your sleep schedule has to shift all the time. And so to be fair, like I know that if I were to ask you, if I were to be like, hey, listen, the only time that I can record this podcast is fucking 3 a.m, I'm positive that you would be like, God, that sucks. I mean, I'll do it, but like, damn, dude, like, don't do this again. Cause like, I know that you're flexible with your sleep schedule, but like, I know you also don't want to. Like, you're not like, you know what I would love tonight? I would love to stay up until 4 a.m. and then wake up at noon and have nothing the rest of the day. Like, that's a young man's game.
Yeah, like, I was cool like last night with us just getting the few games and playing for 2 hours, right? I think that's what it was. And I was like, yeah, that's a pretty good stopping point. But like, I couldn't imagine being like, yeah, let's play like 4 more games and then going to bed at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
And then be like, oh, there goes my whole day because I gotta sleep.
Yeah, just I mean, like, I don't know, because I have a kid. And you know, like, you don't just get to, I mean, I did this weekend, bless my wife. I, because I've been going so hard at work, I don't know what happened on Sunday, but, my son woke up. We had a big day plan. It was like, all right, we're going to wake up, get dressed, eat breakfast. Then we're going to go to the store and grab a bunch of ingredients. We're going to go over to our friend's house and make Christmas cookies and decorate them. And then we're gonna come back home, and that, like, that's the plan. Like, pretty big plan, because we're meeting people, we've got to go to the store, all that stuff. And we woke up at 8 a.m. I got dressed, and we got our kid downstairs, and I was sitting on the couch, and I looked at my wife and was like, I don't think I can do it. Listen, what do I have to give you to let me go back to sleep? And my wife just was like, yeah, it's fine. And I was like, thank you. And I went upstairs. I swear to you, I slept, like, I got back into bed. I was asleep within 10 minutes, and I slept until 1:30 in the afternoon. Like, I was dead ass tired, and I woke up and was like, oh, I guess I really did need that. But for most days, like, it's not like, my wife is tired too. I can't just be like, hey, I stayed up till 2 a.m. playing the old Ford ass. Can you take him, and I'll just sleep until noon or whatever? It's just not a thing you could do.
Listen, not until it's your job.
That's right.
Listen, I've been playing around with this Let's Play idea for a while. Like, I really want to enact it, but it all comes down to you, Kolb.
Listen, Let's Plays don't work anymore. Like, that was a popular format. It's gone now. Like,
not a Let's Play, but like, just like playing a couple of games and throwing them on the channel.
You're describing a Let's Play, Fee. You're describing a Let's Play, you fuck. Yeah, like, we should play some games, record it, and put it up on the... That's a Let's Play!
Well, why not?
Because it's a lot of time? For nothing?
I don't know. I'd have fun doing it.
Yeah, I would have fun doing it, but damn. I have other things to do, son.
Nah, no you don't. Anyway, 40 minutes in, and we haven't talked about any of our topics.
Yeah. Let's get into it. We touched a little bit on the Game Awards. Let's start there.
Oh, the Game Awards, right? The Profit Awards?
Yeah, listen. We went through the awards, and
oh, dude.
It looks like you beat me. It looks like you beat me.
Oh.
Let's go through them to like we'll like, I didn't write these down. You didn't write these down. Let's just make up what we did before based off of what we think we would have picked. But I'm almost positive you beat me. So Game of the Year. I think you picked Baldur's Gate 3. I picked Tears of the Kingdom because I love Tears of the Kingdom.
Baldur's Gate 3 is a gift that keeps on giving, baby. It's a good game.
People
were mad about this.
Yeah, people were mad about this for No reason? Like, um, so I've been watching C-Dog VA play Final Fantasy VII, and he, at the end of it, was like, wow, like, this game has so many areas and so much story and, like, so much stuff to do. Like, this must have been really mind-blowing when it first came out. Like, I can't imagine what a big, like, obviously it's a legend now. I'm sure it was really popular then, but, like, the people that played it, they must have been, like, unfathomably shocked at, like, wow, I can't believe that a game can be this big.
Yeah.
And, like, I feel like Baldur's Gate 3 did a similar thing where they were like, because making games got so expensive, and, like, you have to hire visual effects and you have to, like, spend so much time on graphics and mocap and all this shit. Like, it got to the point where you don't expect, like, a game to go the extra mile, let alone the extra 10 miles. But Baldur's Gate does, and it does it so frequently. Like, it's like, hey, do you want to do this in the story? Yeah, you probably can. We probably have a path for that. Like, nobody expects, like, Baldur's Gate 3 is, from what I understand, again, I haven't played it, but from what I understand, it's like, if you were playing a video game and you were like, oh shit, I thought that was an invisible wall, but it's not. Oh shit, I thought that was an invisible wall too, but it's not. You mean I could just go anywhere? Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Basically, because, like, there's some, like, what, like, you're walking, and if you're, like, on a narrow path that, like, you could fall off and die, it'll stop you to where you can't walk off the edge. But if you select, like, jump and decide you want to jump off the edge, you can. You'll die. And it's happened a few times to me, like, until, like, I had to get it. Like, I've learned the savior of save scum. But Baldur's Gate 3 will let you just do anything. And after you finish, like, the intro, the fucking prologue, you know, getting your party people and, like, doing the beginning, like, thing, it drops you in an area and it's like, well, do whatever. Just whatever you want. You don't have to get all the party people. Even my first run, and I haven't even finished my first run, and it's a 50-hour run. I still didn't get Asterion the vampire. I completely missed him.
Wow.
And he's right there at the beginning. I just didn't go there.
Yeah, he's a big deal too.
Yeah. And I was like, I like this run, but, like, I don't really like my build, so 50 hours in, I was like, I'm just going to start a new game. And I have, and I'm right, like, currently I'm 18 hours in. I was playing before we recorded.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't.
It's such a good game, but, like, people are like, oh, dude, Spider-Man 2 deserves it. And everyone's like, why does Spider-Man 2 deserve it? They took, like, all the assets and everything from Spider-Man 1 and just kind of, like, upped it a little bit for part 2. And, like, the entire city map is the same. And even so, they were like, oh, but they added the new area. And one of my coworkers at work was like, yeah, that's just the Miles Morales DLC that they put in.
Yeah.
So, like, everything's pretty much the same besides the story.
Yeah, which, to be fair, I mean, I'll fucking, like, I'm going to play that game once I finish SMRPG and maybe Final Fantasy 16. I haven't quite decided what the order of that it's going to be, but, like, I'm going to play Spider-Man, and the thing that I'm playing it for is the story and, like, the new interactions that you can do. Like, the one bad thing about having a game that's set in a location is, like, you can't change New York City. Like, New York City just is New York City. So, like, they nailed it in the first one. What are you going to do for the second one? This is New York City 2. There's one in the sky.
Like the Boogaloo. Hell yeah. Like, that's fair. That's very fair. It's just, like, it just feels like not DLC. Like, they could expand on neighborhoods and stuff where you can go in there. It's just, I don't know. Like, I'll play it. It's just, I'm not stoked as much as part 1 to play it, because, like, part 1 was, like, real brand new, and part 2 you're just, like, retreading the old thing. I like 100% believe, like, in a couple of years, if they decide to do a Baldur's Gate 4, it would look and feel completely different.
Yeah, totally.
Than part 3. It's just, Marvel Spider-Man 2, you could beat that game in 2 days if you wanted. Baldur's Gate 3, some people haven't even finished it.
All right, Fee, do it. When you get your PlayStation 5, do it. Beat it in 2 days.
No, I want to play Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah, but you can play Spider-Man 2 as well. Just do it.
No, because then I will get lost in the sauce playing Final Fantasy 16. It's going to be Final Fantasy 16, Ratchet and Clank, and then by the time I'm finished with that one, it'll probably be fucking Rebirth time.
Oh, speaking of which, let's pause my humiliating Game Awards stuff to just talk about the new Final Fantasy Rebirth trailer, because I only tuned into the Game Awards for like Game of the Year, I think. Like it started early enough that like by the time we were done with bedtime, it was like, oh yeah, we could turn on the Game Awards. And then it was like, yeah, Game of the Year, Man in an Armor, and I said, oh great. But they showed off a new trailer for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and the title of the trailer is theme song announcement, which like is so deceptive, because to me, this is like, oh, so you're gonna like show off some like clips that we've seen, or you're gonna show off a performance, and like that's what it's gonna be. It's just gonna be the song, but it is not, dude. Like the first thing, like trailer greets you with the end. Okay, this is like all of this is inside of the trailer. We're also going to be talking about parts of Final Fantasy VII. So if you're adverse to spoilers for Final Fantasy VII Remake or Final Fantasy VII, skip to 15 minutes from now. Okay, so
baby.
The beginning of this starts off with Zack losing his fight with the Shinra soldiers, or supposedly like it's him falling down, a bullet going right between his eyes, and then it cuts away to my boy Bugenhagen.
I was so excited. I was so excited for Bugenhagen.
My wife watched this trailer with me, and so my wife is great. My wife only knows Final Fantasy VII Remake, and so I'm trying my best to like not give my wife like Final Fantasy VII spoilers. And I was so excited. My wife was like, "Who the hell is that?" And I was like, "Oh, his name's Bugenhagen. You don't know shit about him yet."
So, seeing him in the flesh is so good. Knowing we're going to Cosmo Canyon, so good. Zack, don't know if he's living or dying. I don't know if I'm upset about that yet. We know that Zack is currently in the current timeline alive. We know that. So, like, so here's the thing. Any change to the original story, I'm always down for it. So long as it makes sense, so long as it's like a cool thing that's happening, that's great. Well, yeah, that's why I said I don't know if I'm upset yet.
So I don't know that whether or not we're gonna be upset until I don't even know if the end of this game is gonna, because like there's so many things that need to be revealed. Like, you know, Aerith seems like she knows more about what's happening in the timeline than we do. Zack is not dead. That's not supposed to happen.
Speaking of Aerith, the fight, I'm skipping ahead, but the final shot of the cutscene is her praying in what looks like where is it? The underground city.
Yeah.
And you know what's gonna happen.
Well, and not only that, if you look at the shot, fucking black feathers are falling around her.
Yeah.
Shit, dude. Like, that's what's supposed to happen. And also, there's a part in the middle, by the way, where, and I don't know why this is. So, I don't know how this happened, but there's a part in the middle where Zack and Cloud, so it's Cloud like nodded off, asleep, like out of his brain, probably between their escape and the beginning of Final Fantasy VII. I that's where I'm probably going to put this. And Zack is talking to a random, it looks like Marlene.
Yeah. Oh, dude, yeah, the kid.
Yeah, it looks like Marlene, but she's like, she doesn't know that when she wakes up, she's gonna die. Like a scary man is gonna kill her. I think that's what she says.
Yeah, she says something about that. And doesn't it like, okay. That's not before the cut of Aerith praying, right?
No, the Aerith praying is right at the very end.
Okay. Man, did Zach die at the battlefield, or is he gonna live a little bit? Because like that opens up like what's he doing now? Like during the main story.
Yeah, like so we know, like we've seen what Zach has been doing. We don't know how he got there, but we know that Zach was on the outskirts of Midgar while we were inside of it, and he shows up at the church right after we leave. So we know that he's like half a day journey behind us, right? Like they're already on the way to Calm, and my man Zach is opening up the church doors. So he's in Midgar right now while we're walking to Calm. So we know where he is now. We don't know where he's been, why he's been there.
What's he doing?
I also like, did you catch that Zach was talking to Biggs?
I was gonna say that because like there's a wanted poster and X's through everyone but Biggs.
Yeah,
I was like, how the fuck did Biggs live?
The end of Final Fantasy VII remake shows that he lives, because they go to the Leaf House, and his I think his bandana is on the nightstand next to him. So we knew that Biggs was alive. We know that Wedge is alive, I think. And we're pretty. I'm shaky on whether or not I think Jesse's dead. I think Jesse's dead. I originally thought that the bandana next to Biggs was Jesse's bandana. I thought like she like came by and left it for him or something, but I don't. Maybe that's not the case. The thing is, like, I really like the interaction between Zach and Biggs, because Biggs like is having survivor's gear where he's like, why is everyone else dead but I'm the only one that's left alive? Like that doesn't make, like, I don't deserve to be here. Like there are much better people than me that should be alive. And like that's a cool angle to take it from. It's like, and I will admit, like at the end of the game I was like, oh, Biggs is alive. I don't like that actually. Why? Because like we watched CDawg VA play the original Final Fantasy VII. Like my wife and I watched for a little bit. I was like, yeah, we're still in disc 1. Like we tuned in right as the plate was about to drop, right? And I was like, oh yeah, this is like a goofy cutscene. Like they get on this hook and they fucking swing like Tarzan out of the sector just in time, and like we were talking about that, and then at the end I was like, yep, and there they go. Everyone in Sector 7 is dead. There was no evacuation. That's it. And then Barrett is like having his meltdown where he's like, Jesse, Biggs, Wedge, Marlene, and he starts shooting everything. And Mia was like, wait a second, they all died? And I was like, oh yeah, all of Avalanche except for the people you see in front of you are fucking dead from that. Like,
and not Marlene.
Not Marlene. Yeah, they reveal that almost immediately. It's like, oh, Aerith saved her.
Aerith got her out. Yeah, she was the only person.
She's the only person from Sector 7 that's alive, and like that's definitely that's a huge change. And man, like it makes me think of Madoka, because have you ever seen Madoka?
The witch show?
Yeah,
I have.
Yeah, so like at the end of Madoka, they have this, like, spoilers for Madoka, they have this big reveal where it's like, oh, the Homura, the girl with the black hair, has this like time travel ability where she keeps going back in time because Madoka keeps dying, and every time that she goes back, like she's trying to make sure that Madoka doesn't become a witch or doesn't die or whatever. And every time she does, Madoka becomes more like powerful until she's like at like god level at the end. And I'm wondering if something similar is happening to Aerith, where like the whole cycle of like death and rebirth in life is like happening in Final Fantasy, and every time she's getting better at saving more and more people. So that's why like we progress from her only saving Marlene to like, okay, I have an evacuation to do. I need these people to listen to me. These are the people to talk to that everybody will listen. We have to organize like this, and like things will change, but like we need to be like very aware of like, the plate is going to drop. I can't reveal this information too soon because otherwise whatever. And like, she's been through this cycle countless times. And now she's like, all right, I've saved everyone in Sector 7 from dying. Great. Like that's the status that she's at. And so I'm like,
that's why all the ghost shows up.
Yeah.
I didn't like that in Remake. Not the ghosts. I didn't like that. They're like, the plate's falling there. It's like, I got everyone out just in the nick of time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not as strong as like the sacrifice that everyone dies in 7.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion,
I agree. Like, whenever a game takes sort of a callous like approach to human life, one in which like they're like, it would be sad if this happened, and they don't do that. Or sorry, like one in which they're like, that would be sad if that happened, but they just disregard it and they're like, no, everyone in Sector 7 died. Like all of them, like Marlene being alive, that's like a nice, like one nice thing that happened. Everybody else is dead. You're like, fuck, dude, these people I've spent all this time with are dead. Like killing Aerith, like huge ballsy ass move, right? Like to be like, this is a character you know and love, we're going to kill them. And it hits really hard. And that's why I'm willing to forgive a bunch of this, like, oh yeah, they were dead, but not really stuff only because I'm waiting to see if there's a payoff. I'm waiting to see if Aerith, like in this game or the next one, like there's just a big reveal of like Aerith has been groundhogging day Final Fantasy VII hundreds, thousands, millions of times, and every time she's gotten a little bit better at saving people and gotten a little bit better at like, you know, making sure that everybody is safe and everybody is happy, or like everybody gets the outcomes that they want, but she hasn't been able to like live or prevent Sephiroth from like doing his shit, or like
she saves everyone before she dies. But she like in times before she's like lived, but it's changed events.
Yeah.
So I like the event that before, like she could save a lot of people, but she has to die. Dude. That's the thing. Imagine
if in this game toward the end, like the ending is like everything is playing out as we thought it would. Like Sephiroth is fucking up in the rafters about to come down like Sting, right?
Yeah, it's fucking Sting.
He's gonna Sting bat Aerith, and as he's descending, Cloud is able to like hit his sword away, and there's a big fight, and then she doesn't end up dying, right? Like,
no,
and then and you're like, wow, okay, like we just prevented her from dying. And then the next cutscene is Aerith being furious with you, being like, I'm supposed to die. I'm supposed to die so all these people can live. What the fuck do you think I've been doing this whole time? Great, now this has been a waste of time. I got to do this all again. And like, you're like, what are you talking about? And like, this is that sort of like, same with like Final Fantasy X moment where you realize that like, the whole sin cycle is a big cycle thing, and Titus is like, no, fuck it, we're gonna do something different, and we're gonna break out of this cycle. Like that could be that moment for Final Fantasy VII Remake where they're like, no, we recognize this is a cycle. That sucks that this happened to you. We're gonna protect you. Like you've let us in on it. Things are gonna be different this time. And she's like, yeah, fucking okay, I bet. Yeah, like every other hundreds of thousands of times I've done this. Yeah, sure, it's gonna be different this time.
I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
Man, I like that to me would be good. Like that's how you justify being like, okay, this person lived. All right, this person lived. Yeah, the plate dropping was like really bad in that everybody lost their homes, but no one really died. Like that's how you get away with like things are better because of like Aerith working as this background agent, and then that is sort of revealed because like the whole point of the first game is like things are supposed to happen like Final Fantasy VII happens, and these ghosts are like making sure that happens. And then at the end of the game, you fucking kill fate. You're like, fuck fate. And now you're like, wow, I can really go do anything I want to. But now at the end of Final Fantasy like 7 Part 2, like the thing that you're having to defeat, you know, Genova or whatever, but it's a symbolic victory because you're like, no, we're going to break out of this Aerith dying and sacrificing herself cycle, and we're going to figure something out this time. Like, that's a cool ending for me.
No, her her dying and becoming part of the live stream to help Cloud at the very end is such a better ending to me. I can't get behind your fucking your faux ending. I want her to die. I want Cloud to fucking wade through the water and like drop her.
God, such a hard-hitting scene. If I hadn't have been spoiled on it before I saw it, I would have cried forever.
I wasn't spoiled on it, and I didn't because I didn't invest any time into Aerith. I was just like, huh, all right. Maybe because I was too young. Like, it came out in 97, that's when I played it. And I played and beat through the game when I was like 8 or 9.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of didn't have an effect on me. Like, really, I was like, I never used her, so it's okay. Like,
damn.
Because my team, every time we got a new member, other than Kate Sith, he was never in my team.
Mm-hmm.
I would make them the permanent people in my team. So like my very first ever playthrough of the game, my main team was always Cloud, Vincent, and Sid.
Yeah.
And I never like alternated between anyone. So like Aerith dying was just like, man, oh well.
That's inconvenient, but
like I just didn't get like the intricacies of like the story they were telling. I was just really hyped to be playing the game. I just didn't really care about her. So maybe like that sullied like my perception on it. I still don't think it's like that big of a deal. I understand she's like a really good character and she has like good character moments. It's just that like other people can heal in the original games. And it doesn't matter if she could or not, right?
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, for a lot of gamers, this was the period of time in which you played this game and it's very clear that like Aerith and Cloud are a thing. Like Aerith is nice and she's like funny and she's like very clearly interested in Cloud, and you have these like really sweet moments where you're like, wow, fucking I want Cloud to end up with her, and you've got this sort of like love triangle with Tifa where you're like, I don't know who he should end up with. And for a lot of people, myself included, that was the first time that I played a video game in which I was like, wow, I think I'm falling in love with a fake character. And then they fucking killed her. And so, like, you're developing all these fond feelings for someone, and that's like the first time that you ever experience in a video game that like that person is just permanently taken away. Like, and you see the effects of like people mourning her, and like you see the other characters react to it, and you're reacting like, no fucking way. There's no way they actually did that. You can't do that. That's my favorite. That's my girl.
No, I was always team Tifa. Like, Aerith could eat my ass.
Damn.
I was more sad when I played Grandia 2 on the Dreamcast when one of your main characters died.
Mm-hmm.
I was more affected by that game, and not like a lot of people have played that game.
Yeah.
So I can't just go off naming characters and what happened because they're like, what game? Who?
Yeah. Yeah, you remember when Jeff died? No one does. Stop bringing up Jeff.
Yeah, fucking. So like, that was the like I played Grandia 2 after I played Final Fantasy 7 and like Final Fantasy 8, but like that had more weight to me. Maybe because I was like 3 years older. I don't know, but that had more weight on me than Aerith dying. I mean, it was a cool scene, something I didn't expect to see like in a game, but like, I don't know, man. It wasn't too big a deal. I was like unaffected, but it was.
I think it's one of those things like if you're at the right age and like you haven't experienced something like that before, it's extremely powerful. It's like it's one of those things like the first time that you play Ocarina of Time, depending on how old you were, it's the best game of all time. Like, you hadn't ever seen anything like that before. You hadn't ever experienced a game that was like that in depth and like a cool story and like you'd never. So you're like, no, this is a masterpiece. This is the best game that's ever made. And I think this is a very similar thing where like, especially, God, how old was I? Freaking, when
97.
did FF7 come out? 98,
97.
right? 97, yeah. So I would have played it in 98, which meant that I would have been 11. And that is right around the time at which you're like, I'm kind of interested in girls. I'm kind of interested in like, man, I wish I had a girlfriend. You know, like that's the date. Like that's the time at which you're like, you start developing feelings.
You're so like, that's what Aerith is my girlfriend.
Yeah, Aerith's my girlfriend. I didn't want to tell you all, but Aerith is actually canonically my girlfriend.
I played it first, so you know.
But like,
no,
I think that's one of the big things is like, depending on the age and whether or not you'd experienced something like that before, this is your first introduction of like, oh yeah, this is a piece of media that isn't fucking around and is really going to make you feel stuff. And you're like, holy shit, this is the best game of all time.
It was still like a really good game. Like I love that game for like ever. Nothing could beat it.
Yeah.
But the thing before, like right before she dies, you control Cloud and like you're fighting to not like cut her with your sword.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're controlling her, when he has his head lifted over, or the sword lifted over his head, you can make him like thrust like back and forward. And I like you can do that until you progress to like his next stance. Mm-hmm. And I was like, look, he's humping the air next to Aerith. So I was like laughing because like I was making him do that. And then she died, and I was like, oh. But I did like the music. The music always did hit me.
Oh, yeah. The way in which I got spoiled is I was in an AOL chat room and somebody was like, hey, what do you guys think about my Aerith Shrine website? And I was like, I don't know what that means. I've never heard of the concept of a shrine website. So I went to it. It's just a bunch of pictures of Aerith and then her fucking dying with her theme song. And I was like, what?
What?
No, that didn't happen, right?
Dude, I could not have been spoiled in the early days by anything because I didn't have the internet. I would have to go and like read about it in the next month's Game Pro if they put it in there. Because so I don't know. I love it. I don't want this whole not bait and switch. Like I love Remake and Rebirth, but I don't want her to like be there praying and she's like, okay, I'm about to get stabbed, and then fucking dodge rolls out of the sword path.
She hears him start to descend, and she turns around and pulls out a fucking pistol and just starts unloading a clip into him. He's like, ah! I didn't know!
She's on her knees, and she, like, slides to the side, and the sword, like, skirts right by her, cutting her dress in a little bit, and she grabs it, and then she like, looks him dead in the eye, and then she fucking gets, like, a knife and, like, stabs him. Just like, oh, how do you like it? Fucking, I don't want that to happen. This may seem like mean and callous, but I want her to die. I can't have her live.
Yeah.
I'm excited for the whole game because we get to see some gameplay from my boy Sid.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see Rocket Town. We get to see old Vincent.
Yeah. Vinny Boy's here, and he's voiced by Matt Mercer, and he looks great.
Yeah, he does. I was way excited to see all of Chocobo Gold Saucer.
Yeah, they dedicated a lot of time to showing off the play, and I love that. I'm so pumped about that.
They show the alternate dating scene who you get to see if you can take on a date, and I'm so happy they left in the Barrett date.
Yeah, Where did you see a Barrett date happening?
So, they show like the scene of them in the trolley, right? Mm-hmm. And they didn't show all of it, but they showed like little pictures of like Aerith sitting there, Tifa sitting there, and then Barrett sitting there.
Oh my god!
there were screenshots. I think there was screenshots.
Okay, got it.
And I know Barrett is still a viable option, and Yuffie too.
God, I hope the only thing that I hope about the date is that when you're in the trolley with Barrett, it's like leaned heavily on his side because he's a lot bigger than you are. Cloud's like, holy shit, you're like, we're gonna fall out of this thing because you're too big, and he's like, I don't give a damn.
He's like, why don't you get a little closer, for safety?
Yeah, you can just come and sit over here.
Don't worry, Barrett will keep you safe. Just he's like, don't worry about my gun arm. You can put your hand on it.
Oh my god, I think the funniest thing would be if they get in. Cloud's like, yeah, I don't know, like we could get in here to just like scope out Gold Saucer because I'm like, I don't know, like we hear that Sephiroth is around. I just want to make sure that things are, and then it starts going up, and Barrett is just like, let me tell you about the planet. Can't you hear the cries of the planet?
He just like starts waxing poetically. It goes up, and you're like overtaking the fucking saucer, and he's just like, "Sky's beautiful tonight." Just Cloud, and his big giant hand, like he's like, "You look way better with the bangs out of your eyes."
Shut the fuck up.
Just really, really into it, and then he gets off. He's like, ah. He's like, "All right, don't be telling no one this happened." Just fucking.
God, I would love. I would love though if it was just Barrett, like he starts just yelling fucking Avalanche propaganda at Cloud, and Cloud is like, get me out of here, fuck, we're up too high, I can't jump.
So like he starts that, he's just like, I'm so pissed off at Shinra, blah blah blah, and then they get to like the peak, and he's just like, it's times like this that make me realize how beautiful the world is and how much you helped me make it. Just looking at Cloud, and Cloud's just there like, where's this going?
Yeah, sorry. What are you saying? Barrett's like, nothing.
It does that thing where like Cloud is like leaning on the door, and his hand's just on the door, and Cloud's like, and you help me make that happen. And his hand like slides over to his.
Cloud doesn't know what's happening. He's like, what are you doing? Barrett's like, I'm thanking you for everything you did at Midgard. Yeah, soldier boy. Stamp. Fuck you. Don't ask me questions.
I just want you to know how much you mean to me. Just, I really want this very late on thick gay scene with Barrett. Jeez.
Man. You and I want so many different things out of this game. Like I'm like no, if they take the first game is only one iteration and we're like in a big fucking overarching story. Like I'm like, yeah, that would be great. Aerith doesn't die. Fucking cool stuff happens. You're like, no, it's very important to me that Aerith dies, and also that there is a 3-minute long sex scene between Barrett and Cloud in Gold Saucer where everyone's watching. It's very important to me that happens.
Listen, why not have a little romance? I'm just saying.
Why not? Hey! Look, dude, what if they did it to where whoever you took on a date in Gold Saucer is the one that dies?
Oh, no. I don't want that.
You're like, fuck, I don't want it. No, Barrett, no!
Look, they could do the love scene, and they could do it the same between all the 4 people you could choose. But like, I really want Barrett, like for real.
Yeah.
Maybe they include Red, but like not a love scene, but like oh Red, you're such a good boy. Like kind of like a taking your dog on a Ferris wheel.
Yeah. Hey, but you want a treat?
Why is Barrett on the world?
I don't know.
Hey, Red, you want a treat? All right, Cloud, get on the goddamn thing. We're just me and you. I'm just fucking...
Sit. Down. Good.
Cloud, I'm really happy that you showed me how to use my materia. Why don't you shine my balls?
Shut the fuck up, God.
I'm just saying, like, I got this Barrett Cloud fanfic in my head that's just waiting to get out.
You do, and it's terrible.
Oh, come on. Speaking, like, how do we know Barrett's not gay, like, not straight anymore? Like, he lost his wife. He fought with his best friend dying, which we get to see in the trailer.
Yeah, which, by the way, Like I told my wife, I was like, oh yeah, did you see that guy in the trailer? Did you see that? It was like that was I was like, they revealed in the trailer that Marlene is not actually Barrett's like biological daughter.
You
And she was
don't
like,
say.
what? She was like, what? They did? And I was like, yeah. He's talking to a guy, and that guy's like, you think I want Marlene to see me this way? They were like, oh, huh. I was like, yeah. Yeah.
Why did you
Fucking sick.
tell them that? Fucking, they wouldn't have known. It would have been a surprise.
Because it was in the trailer, and I wanted to
What,
talk
they
about how good Dine looked.
Dine does look good. I wonder, man. I can't wait to see the cutscene of North Korea getting burnt to the ground.
Yeah.
Like, man, I want a bunch of like death and like sadness in this game.
Yeah, I want to see the scene where he's holding on to Dine, and then he gets his arm fucking shot off.
Dude, are they gonna show his arm getting shot off?
God, dude, please.
The one thing I want to see. Fuck. So they got that. We get to get Kate Sith on our party. He looks really good, even though I don't like him.
He's got a Scottish accent, and
well, he's had a Scottish accent for a long time.
I think the funniest thing about this reveal, and like them like showing him off and him doing all this shit is like, while I was watching Connor play this, somebody in chat, like, they were like, no, the voice for Kate Sith is Scottish. He's canonically Scottish. You make him Scottish right now. He's like, oh, okay. I'm taking the Keystone. Like, yeah. It was great. Oh, God. He was genuinely surprised when Kate Sith fucked him over.
I don't know how. Fucking Kate Sith laid it on thick.
Kate Sith's like, no, we're good, laddie.
We're good boys.
We're best friends.
We're best friends from now on. We gotta go to the ancient temple. I won't double cross you.
Yeah.
My dad's from the Bronx. It just
yeah, this traditional Bronx accent. Fuck.
I did that last night when we were playing Fortnite. I don't know why I did it.
Yeah, Fee just in the middle of like doing a Brooklyn accent transitioned into a Scottish one for no fucking reason.
Hey, my dad taught me how to use a gun just like his father before him from the Bronx.
Mm-hmm.
That was my joke of the night. But dude, Final Fantasy VII, man, I'm so excited for it. Like, the combat looks so much. It's not like a fucking Marvel Spider-Man 2 situation. They didn't just reuse assets. Like, they upgraded shit. They upgraded the combat. It's going to be open world. You get to explore things. We see Dio.
And he's so jacked and hairy. He's the, like, man, when you think of, like, oh yeah, this person in the original was supposed to be a stereotypical bear character. Like, imagine if that was like what really came across in the original game and they translated it perfectly into this game.
Dude, if you there's a lot of like gay people in Final Fantasy VII, the original, that you don't see the first time.
Yeah.
And now that they're bringing it to light, you're like, yeah, there's a lot of gay representation.
Yeah, all right, cool.
So fucking Dio being like his fucking super muscular like gay bear.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so good.
It's so good.
Chocobo Billy's like a pimp.
Yeah.
Or they modeled him to look like it. Like, what?
God.
We see we're gonna be in Rocket Town, the Gold Saucer.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna be for sure in Nibelheim.
Mm-hmm.
See a little bit of Calm. I'm sure we're gonna be. Of course, we're going into Cosmo Canyon. We're gonna do that whole arc.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna do, what's it called? Underground City. That's presumably where the game ends.
Yeah, like getting into the ancient city.
Yeah.
They haven't shown enough after that to where I'm like, okay. Because after that is like what? Just the Northern Crater, right?
Well, after that is they haven't summoned the weapons yet. Cloud hasn't gone into a coma yet.
Yeah, that's Northern Crater.
So like the last game is just going to be Northern Crater, maybe Wutai, unless they put Wutai in this game, which would make sense.
I think the last game like I don't know. Like I'm of two minds. So we know at the very least that we're gonna get to what we think is Aerith's death, right? They could go beyond that, and they just haven't shown it, which would be good. Like they could go to the first time that you go to the crater, and Cloud hands over the materia, and weapons get released.
They still got to put the cannon on Junon.
Mm-hmm.
Or the Junon cannon on Midgar.
They do, yes.
Well, actually, that's
but that happens after the Northern Crater, yeah.
Yeah, because the weapons come out because you're with Tifa fighting Scarlet on the cannon.
Yep.
And that's when they fired on, not Ultimate Weapon, but
Diamond Weapon.
Yeah, Diamond.
It's the one that you don't ever fight, I don't think.
Yeah, because they blow its head off.
Yeah.
So, like, which, if we're going to Rocket Town, does that mean we get the Tiny Bronco?
I think so, yeah.
How's that going to work? Like, because you could fly on shallow water, so...
Yeah.
Man, I can't wait to see that cutscene. I can't wait to see the rocket going up and then crashing down. I'm sorry, I'm spoiling, but...
They had, in the trailer, they do show the Tiny Bronco taking off.
Yeah, but that could be just a cutscene when they're getting away from
Palmer. Fuck.
Oh, we're gonna fight Palmer and his weird alien gun? Is he gonna get hit by a truck still?
God, I hope so. They gotta keep it, right? Like, they've kept so much goofy shit about this game already. They've gotta keep the rest of it too, right?
Exactly. I can't wait to play the mini games. I want to see Cloud on a snowboard.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be doing so much like chocobo breeding. It's gonna be great.
Yeah. Also, here's a really interesting change. Maybe. I don't know if you noticed this. There's a very short scene where you're taking control of Zack, and so it's like, okay, yeah, you get to play as Zack at one point.
Yeah.
Did you notice where he is?
I did not.
He's running up to the Nibelheim mansion.
Yeah.
So this must be part of the flashback.
Yeah, it has to be.
So,
it has to be.
Like, so then what the fuck is this? Because Cloud is supposed to be telling the story, right?
Well, what if this is before like Cloud tells the story? Like, I'm guessing this is all like, no, because he meets Biggs. Maybe this is before, like, so this explains why Zack is in the mansion in the thing where he's in the Mako, right?
Mm.
When that optional cutscene you can get if you go back to the mansion.
Yeah. Maybe
that's showing how, I don't know. I'm speculating because I honestly couldn't tell you anything. This is all new ground.
Yeah, I like it could be like that would be kind of an interesting angle to take it from. Like, you play through the whole flashback with Cloud, and then like you switch to Zack, and Zack is talking to Biggs, and something comes up where like they both start talking about like the same flashback, and you're either switching between their perspectives or like you play Cloud's first, and then like, you know, because there is that line that Tifa says where she's like, "What do you think that I'm making shit up?" Like, where she's like I'm not lying about this. And so I think that there's like a part at which like Tifa maybe objects with like, I don't think that's what happened, and Cloud is like, well, that's how I remember it. And then you're like, I don't know what's going on here, and then like Zack start talking to Biggs, and now you play through like the flashback again, but you play through it from his perspective, and you start to notice and pick up on shit, and you're like, oh my god, what if
maybe
Cloud is fucking lying?
Maybe that's a later thing. Like you start off in calm, and you're a Cloud, and he talks about him going there, and they do all that. But like later in the game, when you find out Zack is alive, maybe, and he's talking to Biggs, he tells the same story, but Biggs is like, yeah, but Tifa told me something else.
Yeah,
and he's like, nope, it was me. I was there. It was never Cloud. Cloud's not who he says he is.
Yeah,
but he's not a bad guy. It's just that I set him on this path because I don't know, future.
Yeah, or like. Or fucking Zack, because like I don't think like it's hard to know, like, because we're okay at this point at the end of Final Fantasy VII Remake, we're pretty sure that Aerith knows something. Aerith knows something that she's not telling us, and it seems like she knows more about the timeline than we do, right?
She knows the future,
right? Yeah, that's what they're really trying to make us think. So the question then is like, is Zach in on it? Because like, if he
He
is,
plays a big part. He plays a big part in it.
if he is, then it makes sense that like he's talking to Biggs, and he's like, oh yeah, there's a weird situation that's happening. He's a good dude, but that's not what happened. But if he doesn't know anything, then imagine he's telling this to Biggs. Like, I don't think Biggs doesn't know anything about what happened in Nibelheim. So like, this could be an entirely different thing, and no one is like gonna call him out on it.
Unless Tifa told him before, like they met up with Cloud, and like she explained that that's why Cloud's like trustable because of what happened at Nibelheim.
Yeah,
but also Zach could be on it. Like, so if you haven't played Final Fantasy VII, Crisis Core, where you play as Zach the whole game, he meets up with Aerith. That's how they know each other. They become boyfriend and girlfriend. Oops, shit. They become boyfriend and girlfriend. What if in this timeline, when Zach is in Soldier and he meets up with Aerith before 7, this is our timeline, Aerith, and she tells Zach what's going to happen. So he kind of knows the future in this timeline, but not the whole future. So he was able to get away from the soldiers, like dogpiling him and presumably killing him. And that's where we see him in this game.
Yeah. I think that's totally possible too. Like that there's, we're not accounting for the difference in having having these two characters that maybe know something, or maybe there's maybe there's something that we're not thinking about with respect to Zach and Aerith knowing something, or I don't know, it could be something entirely different. That's actually why I really love and look forward to more remake games, because I don't know what the fuck is going to happen, and that makes me so pumped, because this is a new game.
Look, if they're gonna remake another game in the vein of Final Fantasy VII remake, do 8, please. People deserve to play that story, but with a better fucking combat system. Like, honestly,
listen,
8 is a good stupid story that deserves to be told, but with a better combat system that you don't have to fucking rack your brain around or completely cheat to like enjoy.
Sorry, we're both you're talking about Final Fantasy VIII, right?
Listen, that story's
the one
stupid.
in which the junction system sucks my whole asshole.
That's why I said remake it like 7 with a better combat system.
Okay.
No junction.
I don't know about the story though. Like,
it's funny. Come on.
Yeah. If we're basing whether or not you remake a game on whether or not it's funny, then sure, fuck it. Like, do 10. 10's got a funny dumbass story too.
Okay, fine.
9's got a funny dumbass story too.
Oh, Final Fantasy 9's a good game. Don't give me that.
I didn't say it was 9. A bad game. I said it's a funny dumbass story. Oh, there's two planets that are coming together. Oh, it's crazy.
Look, no one even remembers that game, so that's why I said we got to remake it again, because it's such a good story.
Whatever happened to the 9 anime? There was supposed to be an anime, right?
There is. I think it's supposed to come out next year.
That we haven't seen anything from it. That's fucked up.
I know. I'm upset. 9's like one of my favorite fucking Final Fantasies.
Mm-hmm.
It's so funny when you think about like Final Fantasy 7 and how like coherent and like serious the storyline is, but like 8 is not.
Yeah.
Or 9 is serious up until the last disc, and then it gets dumb.
Yeah. Well, 8 is also really like 8 takes itself really seriously.
Up until disc 2.
Yeah, up until disc 2, basically, when they're like, oh, these are the fucking... These are these people, and there's an whole underground thing. You gotta find the White Seed ship. You're like, ugh.
Hey, you gotta go fight the big slug that's been living under Balam Gardens this whole time.
You're like, oh, cool. Yeah, I know. I love that. I love this plot.
We gotta go and fight this witch, go back in time and meet yourself, and go back into the future and wish yourself out of existence.
Listen, have you heard about time compression, kid? Imagine time as an accordion, and you push it in. That's what it is.
That's what it is. That's what it's all about. I'm just saying, Final Fantasy 9 could do a remake. I would love to see Final Fantasy, like an old fantasy setting Final Fantasy like remade.
Mhm.
I'd love to be in fucking Alexandria with the Final Fantasy VII remake graphics
Yeah, dude. That would be
and seeing
sick.
like the big battlefield and shit. God, it would look so great.
Yeah.
Like Final Fantasy VIII is fine, but it's like more future than 7. Final Fantasy VII is like a dystopian future, kind of like a post-apocalyptic okay future, not even post-apocalyptic, an industrial future
Mhm. Yeah.
where like you have industrialized areas but there's still like land and like beaches and shit.
Yeah.
But like Final Fantasy 9 is completely like fantasy, and I want to see a remake like Final Fantasy 7 but with 9. And I know you're probably going to say 6, but like I don't want to see
Oh, of
6
course, sick.
remade.
Listen, if I had to pick any game, not even just Final Fantasy, to be remade, it would be Final Fantasy 6. Final Fantasy 6 one of my favorite games, I'll say, because I think Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild like took over that spot of favorite game for me, but it is number 3. And if we had to do any remake, it's that one. Like fucking I
just want to see a fantasy setting, like a Final fantasy setting.
Yeah.
And like Final Fantasy 9 has like such different like settings that'll look so good in next gen graphics.
Yeah.
Big city of Alexandria, like the Icelands. You get to see all the black mages. You get the fucking pilot, what's it called? Like steam powered airships.
Yeah.
Just, oh man, seeing my boy Vivi cast magic and fight in real time.
Yeah.
And you get to see Queen of Quinn just fucking eating shit, unhinge your jaw and eat shit.
Okay, we don't need that. That's like you could leave that out.
Oh,
I don't
no,
need that.
We gotta put that in with detail.
I'm just gonna say you can get most of that stuff if you remake Final Fantasy 6. Final Fantasy 6 has a bunch of steampunk elements to it.
No. We gotta see Final Fantasy 9. I want to see my boy Steiner in his fucking glorious armor cutting people down. I want to see Ratface in Freya.
Yeah. You want to see her do the rat dance?
Yeah, I want to see her do the rat dance in current gen graphics.
God.
Oh fuck! I love Final Fantasy 9. There's so many good parts in Final Fantasy 9 that I'd love to see in current gen. It's just likely never gonna happen.
Man. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Final Fantasy VII, I think, was sort of a flash in the pan in that, like, it became a cultural phenomenon. It's a touchstone for people beyond, like, it's not just for, people that are like RPG fans or PlayStation fans or whatever. Like, it transcends to the point where like Final Fantasy VII is featured in popular media. Like anybody that has played an RPG will always and has played Final Fantasy VII will recommend Final Fantasy VII as one of the best games to people. So like
it was the Baldur's Gate 3 of its time.
I think so too. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking. And I think we're at the point where Square had to take some time and they had to be like, okay, we keep investing a shit ton of money into like Final Fantasy 15, Final Fantasy 13. We spent a ton of money making this thing, and like, I mean, it was a hit, but it wasn't like a huge hit. What do we got to do? Like, we have to bring people back in, and then they shit or get off the pot with a Final Fantasy VII remake, and they were like, okay, if we're going to do this, we're going to do this as hard as possible. We're going to make it 3 games. We're going to throw as much budget at as possible, and it's paying off for them. And I don't know that they have enough data to say that this will work with another one.
I think they do. I feel like they do. Like, they saw the reaction with the fake Final Fantasy VII PS3 tech demo.
Yeah.
And then everyone's like, oh shit. And then they're like, it's just a joke. And everyone's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, why would you do this?
So like, I feel it in my bones that they could do it with another Final Fantasy. And why not Final Fantasy 9? It has something Final Fantasy 7 doesn't. They have a Pepsi commercial.
Oh fuck, you're right. Yeah, gotta be that one then.
Or no, I'm sorry, Coke commercial where Zidane is chasing this Coke that's flying this Coke what is it called, bottle cap, until he gets the Coke and then he drinks the Coke on top of a house.
Yeah.
Did Cloud ever chase a Coke?
Did Cloud ever chase a Coke? Good question. I don't think so. What a
Yeah.
loser.
What a loser. Zidane was good enough for a Coke promotion.
Oh, yeah, and by the way, you didn't even mention, I'm watching the commercial right now. As the Coke bottle, as the Coke cap touches people, it turns them into like I don't know, magic. Like they gain costumes and shit and start dancing around, and now all the roofs have lights and shit on it.
Yeah, that's because Coke awakens the inspiration in you.
Yeah.
Coke is the beginning, and Coke is the end.
Yeah.
Coke is life. Coke is death.
Coke is love.
Coke is love. I think that's a good way to end today's podcast.
Yeah, we had more to talk about, but I you know how whenever we bring up One Piece, we end up talking about it forever? If we ever bring up Final Fantasy VII Remake and we're like theorizing on stuff, I should just know that's the only thing we're going to do. Spoiler alert, I lost the Game Awards predictions. There was only one category that Hi-Fi Rush won, and that was best audio design. So
yeah,
whatever.
You did call that. Listen, you called that. I had a feeling it was going to be that, but I didn't want to take that away from you.
Thank you.
And we all know that the profit fee is anything but charitable.
Listen,
I'm a charitable prophet.
Next Nintendo Direct, I'm gonna be up in there.
Listen,
I'm gonna get you.
No, come on. You say that every time. Anytime there's some kind of awards or some kind of announcement, you're like, oh man, it's gonna be my time to shine. And what do? I stand on my pedestal and I look down and go, you just try.
Yeah, and one of these times, I'm gonna be right.
Look, if one of these times when you're right, you can look at me and puff your chest out and be like, I fucking got you, and I'll nod knowingly and allow you to come up.
You'll say, yeah, sure, yeah, no, you really got me. Yep.
Yeah, behind me.
What's the scoreboard, by the way? Is it like what, 80-1? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're just there beating on the floor with your one scribble on the wall. 1 to 100. Just
biggest one of my life.
Only one of my life is only what I need. It's the one that like fucking. I'm just like you. It's like one of those old 90s like sports. How does it say animes? Movies. Where like the underdogs they win the one game over the team who's like won the whole fucking year.
Yeah.
But it's that one game that counts.
It's true. It's true.
That's what it's gonna be.
It's gonna be me. Listen.
Never.
You should follow us on twitch.tv/GoGetUsPod if you want to listen to this episode live. We record anytime between 0 and 2 times a week. The replay of this goes up on our YouTube channel the same time as the podcast does, a little bit later in the day, every Wednesday. YouTube is like 2 p.m. Central, and we try to get it up by 5 a.m. on most podcatchers. That way it's ready for you by the time you go to work. So you should go do that. We could also take a look at our YouTube and TikToks. YouTube.com/@GoGetUsPodcast. And you can find us on TikTok as well. Our shorts are hella good.
Fresh.
Yeah. They're fresh. They're like a nice tomato.
They're like an avocado.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was hoping there was more to that, but here we go.
Avocados are fresh. Fresh avocado.
That's okay. Yeah, so you can follow us on all those platforms. Make sure to, if you're just an audio podcast person, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, any of the podcatchers, we are on, and we are there. So like, go get at us.
Yeah, give us a good old like, follow, sub, give us $1.
Yeah. Give me $1.
I'd love $1. Go to my local bodega, buy me a Mr. Pibb, and still owe them $1 because $1's not enough.
Yep, we live in America.
Well, gun to my area. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to go out and sell all your unwanted like things at a pawn shop, games, whatever. Get enough money to go get you a PS5. Go get you a PS5 and put it in your room, hook it up, play Final Fantasy VII Remake. And then I want you to get all your friends and family together, bring them into your room, and wait with you. Never go to work, never eat, never do anything. Just wait with you until Final Fantasy VII Rebirth comes out in February. And then when they complain about being hungry and sleep deprived, I want you to go get them.
Go get them. Just the instructions for this week are, to be very clear, die. You and your family and friends die.
Because Final Fantasy VII is not out.
Yeah, and listen, once people start dying enough, I bet they'll put it out faster.
Oh, that'll definitely light a fire under their ass. They're like, what? People are dying because the game's not out? Put it out!
Yeah, listen, this is instructions for you, not me and Fee. Me and Fee are going to be here waiting for the game to come out early. So, get out there and do your part.
I got a postcard from Nobu, what's his name?
Uematsu?
Uematsu. I was going to say someone else. He said, and I quote, I'm looking at it right now. Hold on, let me get it. He said, you hear that little note card?
I heard it. Good Foley work.
He said, thank you. He said that only me and Kolb are going to get it in January. But he said not to tell anyone, so don't tell anyone that I told y'all, especially not Nobu Uematsu. We're going to get it early, and you can't play it.
Yeah. You can't do it. We've tried. It's just us. What? We tried to get permission to give it to everyone, but it's just us.
He's like, I like your podcast so much. He always sounds like he's out of breath. I like your podcast so much.
Yeah, he runs constantly. The man has never stopped running. While he's composing music, he's just on a treadmill always. I love your podcast. I'm so tired from running all the time.
He's just excited to talk to his two idols, Fee and Kolb.
Yeah, and listen, this is a sacrifice that you're making, not in vain, but for vainity for us. For us. Salute.
Bye.
Bye.
Salute.